You don't exist. Every dream, every ideal, everything you thought integral to your identity. It's all a mirage.
Fairy dust. It doesn't exist.
I know a sentence like that can be quite jarring to hear, but it's absolutely true, and I'll explain why in the next few minutes. Well, you're probably wondering, what do you mean I don't exist? Well, if you don't. What is you? Is it your mind? Is it your body? Is it your heart, perhaps? Well, you don't say me, you say my mind. You don't say me, you say my heart. You don't say me, you say my body. The only thing that really works is saying myself, which then makes you ask, what is the self? Jung, for example, believed that the self is the totality of a person's being. It's the central force guiding the development and the evolution of ourselves as we maintain our identity. End quote. As we traverse through our life and experiences become the catalyst guiding that evolution that he spoke of. So in other words, you can then say that the self is your life experiences that inform your conscious and subconscious mind on how to be and how to act. Not limbs flailing around in the wind or neurons firing off in your brain. It's those life experiences that mold your principles, morals, and ideals, which then has some pretty disastrous implications, like how dangerous labeling yourself can be. It's something that we do all the time without really thinking much about it. Say you walk inside your room and you find that it's quite a bit messy, stuff laying around all over and just garbage everywhere. You can then tidy it up, move on with your day and think nothing of it. Or you can walk inside, look at it and say, ah man, I'm such a slob. And then you do the same thing, you tidy it up and move on. Even though both of them started and ended the same, the second has a way more problems with it. Because now you affirmed yourself as a self-proclaimed slob. And so when something like that happens again, you're more likely to repeat it because you affirmed it as part of your identity. And so it ties us back to the point that we started with. You don't exist. Only your experiences do. And of course, what you choose from them to incorporate into yourself. Now, the last example was bad, sure, but it can also work in a good way. Say, for example, that you, for once in your life, wake up early and get a good start to your day. Now, you can also attribute it to happenstance, just randomly it happened, or you can say that it happened because you're a disciplined and focused person. Similar situation to before, but now you attribute it to something good, a good part of the identity that you want to create. Now that part of the philosophy comes a bit from James Clear's book. God, that's a tongue twister. Atomic Habits, where he roughly phrases that for any change to become true and long-lasting, it has to be one based on identity. Sure, it can be based on the outcomes or it can be based on the processes, but the strongest one has and always will be based on the identity. And that's what this plays on for quite a bit of it. The ego is probably one of the most powerful forces in our human psychology, and also gives you insight on how some of the world's worst atrocities could have been possibly committed. What reason they were committed for, when the perpetrators did it, what surrounding context existed at the time. In almost all cases, they did not see their victims as humans. They saw them as some different species, a different inherent subhuman existence, and they saw themselves as the civilized, enlightened, matured ones. Where they saw the people below their hand as just tools, things, objects that existed to manipulate to their whims, their needs, and their desires. But if it can be used to create something so atrocious, then equally it has the power to create something so wonderful, so wondrous and good for the world. So that's what I'm putting forward, the chance, the possibility that you could become something so amazing, so wonderfully powerful and good and useful to the world that it can overshadow and triumph all that misery and horribleness that existed before you. There's few, if anything, more motivating in the world than how amazing of a person you can be, how much help you can give, how much value you can bring to people, how much good you can do to the world. And sure, it's not a bad thing that if you're looking also for recognition, admiration, and reward for it, all that matters is that you really want to help. I mean, aren't you curious how amazing of a person you could possibly become? Now sure, It won't be easy, it won't be quick, but I can certainly promise you that it will be worth your while in almost every single way possible. Because every little step that you take forward changing yourself will be one step forward in changing the world. I had a lot of fun recording this video actually. It's also giving me better ideas on what kind of content and videos that I want to create, which is quite great. Thinking like what I said earlier is actually part of the reason why I started my business. Actually, if you need a no fluff, straight to the point guide on how to start your own and how to get into that entire world, then you can watch the video right here or here. One of those directions. And if you need an editor, then email me in the description, send me an email through the form on my site. And if you need a free lot pack, then that's also right freaking there. And with that, don't forget to smile. It'll make you feel a lot better. Bye.